I think basketball is in an amazing place right now. We're seeing guys that are not necessarily stars at this time go out and have these massive scoring performances. On top of that, we're also seeing stars go out and amaze everybody by putting together strings of fantastic games. Just this month, Saddiq Bey has had 51. Kevin Durant has had 53. Pay attention to Kevin Durant's 53 because we're going to talk about that this video. Jason Tatum just had 54. At 37 years old, LeBron James just dropped 50. On top of that, in the same month, he had 56. Karl Anthony Towns just put up 60, only for Kyrie Irving to drop 60 a day later. The way that Kyrie Irving got 60 was just silly. Some of the moves that Kyrie has in his bag don't make any sense in my head. You can hate Kyrie all you want for whatever reason you want, but when it comes to basketball, this guy is one of the most creative offensive players that I've ever seen. I think the speed at which Kyrie processes the game is just on another level. This guy just dropped 60, right? Well, he also had 50 in the same month, and the chances are that he's not done yet. As of late, the Brooklyn Nets have been looking tough. Kyrie's been going off, KD's been going off. Role players have been stepping up and rising to the occasion. And while everything has been looking a lot better in Brooklyn, I know that the Brooklyn Nets would welcome more help. Ben Simmons hasn't played a minute this season. When he arrived in Brooklyn, the speculation was that he'd instantly be ready to go. When he wasn't instantly ready to go, the following speculation was that he'd be ready to go after the 76ers Nets game. Well, yeah, he wouldn't really be ready then either. To this day, I still think the result of that game was hysterical. This video, we have to talk about what's going on with Ben Simmons, but before we go any further, let's get a word from our sponsor. A lot of you guys might not know this about me, but I am the biggest live music fan on this planet. Now that's probably an overstatement, but just hear me out. I love live music, I love the vibes, I love the positivity, I love all of that stuff. With that being said, there's this concert coming up, J Balvin. I love J Balvin. This guy makes amazing music. With this J Balvin concert coming up, I needed to find the best way to get a fairly priced ticket. That's where SeatGeek comes in. SeatGeek is the sponsor of today's video, and they're also an amazing ticketing app. Whether it's concerts, baseball, basketball, football festivals, or more, SeatGeek puts tickets from all over the web in one place to make buying super simple. I've got the app on my phone, and they're by far the easiest way to buy tickets. SeatGeek is so clutch, they even let you know what type of deal you're getting when you get it. Now the best part is, if you guys want to come see J Balvin with me, which would be incredibly gas, SeatGeek has you covered. Just use code GETLIKECOOP for $20 off tickets with SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase when you use code GETLIKECOOP. For everybody interested, make sure you click the link in the description to download the app today. With the regular season coming to a close, the Brooklyn Nets find themselves where nobody thought they'd be at the start of the season, and that's trying to dodge the play-in tournament. While some people don't like the play-in tournament, I think that it actually brings a lot to the game of basketball. If it wasn't for the play-in tournament, I think that we'd be seeing a ton of teams coasting right now. Instead, we've been witnessing a number of teams trying to get preferential seeding in the tournament, and also another number of teams trying to avoid the tournament altogether. If you are a 5 or a 6 seed, you are no longer just trying to play to move up to that 4 seed to get home court advantage. You are also now trying to actively dodge the play-in tournament. Right now, the Brooklyn Nets know that they are in the play-in tournament, and they also know that they want no part of it. This upcoming stretch of basketball for the Brooklyn Nets is a very critical stretch. It's a stretch that I'm sure they would have loved to have Ben Simmons for, which brings us to the question, what's been going on with Ben Simmons? About a month ago, Simmons reportedly had aspirations to play Philly. February 26th, Shams would report Ben Simmons is dealing with back soreness and the reconditioning process that requires further strengthening of that area over a period of time before he returns to action. It's believed Simmons' back soreness came about during his ramp-up. The team said that they will be cautious as he rehabs and elevates his basketball shape. Now keep in mind that everything that I just said is from February 26th. Let's move on to March 3rd, where the Nets would officially list Simmons as unable to play because he is reconditioning. Having not played in an NBA game in nearly 9 months, his back has slowed the process. Quote, Ben is still working through a number of things. That same March 3rd, ESPN would report that Ben Simmons is week to week and might not even debut this month, stating that he hasn't even participated in 5-on-5 scrimmages yet, which is typically a last hurdle to clear before returning to action. While I'm so proud of the Brooklyn Nets for showing immense patience with Simmons, I think that everything going on with Simmons right now is incredibly unfortunate, and it raises the question of if there are any problems with Ben Simmons right now, does him returning this season make sense? Can the Brooklyn Nets win without Ben Simmons? Yes. Does Ben Simmons playing at a high level increase their chances of winning? Yes. March 16th, Nash said that Simmons got an epidural while the Nets were in Orlando. The hope is that it will make his back start to feel better and he will be able to do more moving forward. Dr. Jesse Morse on Twitter said that this may band-aid the problem, but it wouldn't completely fix it. Woj would go on to report that Ben Simmons has remained sidelined with an irritation of the L4 disc of the lower spine, and hopes that he can return for a couple of regular season games before the playoffs. There were hopes that he would return the 18th versus Portland, but that became impossible in recent weeks based on Simmons' inability to go more than a day or two in rehabilitation without pain flaring up in the lower back and resetting his timeline. The 18th, Nash said that there was no update on Simmons, that Simmons had an MRI, and that he just hopes that Simmons starts to feel better soon. He also said that while Simmons isn't able to do anything right now, he did a couple of individual workouts in the beginning and hasn't been able to do anything since. He said that he doesn't remember if Simmons was showing back issues or not during the initial workouts. When questioned about if the MRI came back clean or not, Nash responded with, "What does clean mean?" There's been some speculation that Nash is in the dark about Simmons' recovery process. And while there's a chance that he is, I think that Nash is somebody that has done a great job of pretending to be in the dark. Regardless, the situation doesn't seem great at this moment. As a matter of fact, it only raises more questions, if anything. I hope that whatever is going on right now with Ben Simmons and whatever is ailing him does not turn out to be a serious long-term issue. In sports, I've seen back injuries derail more than a number of careers. 2 years ago, there were reports that Ben was in so much pain due to his back that he was throwing up. While there are a number of people that have questioned Ben Simmons' drive, the fact that he was not only able to return from that injury, but also able to return from multiple injuries throughout the course of his career should tell us more than we need to know. I don't know who needs to hear this, but back injuries are not injuries to be taken lightly. As bad as I want Ben Simmons to return and bolster an already tough Nets team, I want him to be healthy first. I think it's legitimately funny that some people don't view Ben Simmons as a needle mover for this Brooklyn Nets team. Look, I understand that the jump shot's not there and maybe it'll never be, but I mean, come on, the gravity of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving got my boy Bruce Brown out here feasting. This isn't me saying Bruce isn't tough on his own. It's just that with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, he has this great chemistry. He knows when to cut. He knows when to make himself available. He knows when he needs to go out and make a play. Imagining Ben Simmons in a similar role almost doesn't seem fair. Don't even get me started on the defensive possibilities. Does this recent report make you guys feel any better or worse about the possibility of Ben returning this season? According to Shams, Ben is dealing with a herniated disc in his back, and although his return to action this season is uncertain, he wants to be back on the floor as soon as possible. This whole situation is interesting. Let me know what you guys think of everything down in the comments below. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop. Until our next upload.